240 to 280 acres of slated development, depending on whose report you read. The next thing I want to point out to you is what's on the books, what's coming down the pipeline in the next phase, or the second phase of development. So, starting as early as 7 years from now, more land can be developed, and they are going to be these sort of darkish green patches here. All of this, the darkish green, is slated for development. The lighter yellowy green is what U.N.B calls conservation lands. They won't be developed. But what I want you to notice here is now we're looking at a patchwork quilt. Okay, this is a highly fragmented landscape plan. So that's what's being proposed.
Next? Here.
Pardon? Oh yeah, thanks. Okay, next. Oh, I may as well stay there. Okay. This is essentially the same map, but now what it's showing you definitively is, okay, here's the dark green. These are the areas that are going to be developed. What's left behind is this lighter yellowy green, and you can see that indeed what is being preserved are the wetlands or the water courses. And of concern to me, again, highly fragmented landscape, but the buffers that are being proposed, they are more generous than the provincially designated buffer zone of 30 meters. U.N.B is saying they're going to have 80-meter buffers. However, there's long-term data sets for these kinds of habitats that show that even 100-meter buffers would not be sufficient to ameliorate developmental damage to these ecosystems. Go ahead. Next one. Okay. So what are some of the impacts that we've seen already in the first phase of development, which is not finished yet? We've seen habitat fragmentation and loss. We've seen siltation of waterways. Corbett Brook has taken quite a bit of siltation. Loss of aesthetics, disruption of the normal drainage patterns for the area, and increases in infrastructure cost required to handle increased runoff. And I'm sure this isn't important to you, but it is important to me. I've suffered damaged research and teaching sites. Okay, so this is a large attenuation pond that has gone in just across from the Knowledge Park Drive extension. So if you look over in the far right-hand corner, you see a little mound. Just beyond that mound is the Knowledge Park Drive extension. So this is just down below from that, and it's supposed to take the excess runoff from the roadway as well as from the parking lots that will be associated with the sports complex. So this is what it looked like when it went in last year.
That's in behind the Alliance, right?
Yes, in behind the Alliance building, if you're off of Ellison Boulevard. This is a little channel that leads from that attenuation pond and comes down into the brook, and even though there's check dams and there's siltation fencing and there's hay, well, this pond was being constructed, we had a normal rain event, and huge amounts of sediment came down into Corbett Brook. So here's what one of my sites at Corbett Brook looked like at this time last year, and what I want you to notice is that silt covers every bit of the bottom of this stream site. Okay, silt is very bad news for organisms living in the stream.